He's the first president to stand up to China in a generation. And he stood up to them in a variety of ways and bringing the economic growth that we have here. Some would call it protectionism. Some would call it the Democrat Party principles. Most would call it that. But the President Trump and the administration has had a battle with China, a battle that is ongoing and needs to continue, in my opinion. Russia is on the descent. China is is ascending, and they're the global threat that we have. And to outsource every single thing that we have, from pharmaceutical drugs to obviously the PPE, which has been very clear during the pandemic, and all of our manufacturing, outsourcing all that to China is a complete mistake. And finally, we have a president that stood up to them in a meaningful way. So much so that they got criticism, and this criticism came from the same globalists that say the economy is going to be wrecked. We're going to lose everything. Yeah. It's all going to go to hell in a handbasket if we fight China and fight back on China, and the cost of goods is going to be a tax increase on everybody. Those things didn't happen. And so he's the first one to take it on. And of course, he's going to get a lot of criticism, originally from his own party, but since then from the Democrats, because it's a presidential year.
Yeah, and sometimes, though, this feels like an area where the Democrats and Republicans actually agree on. And Kirk, it is something that I would have liked to hear more from Kamala Harris to that question that was raised as to what the ticket, what she and Joe Biden actually perceive China to be in terms of an adversary. And there wasn't much there. I mean, we did hear a lot of criticism directed toward President Trump's approach. But what do you think the perception is in the Biden-Harris ticket, and how would the approach change?
Well, one of the things that I've said on this network numerous times is the frustrating thing about this administration is that, as to Jeff's point, that they identify a problem, a real problem, and then do exactly the wrong thing. You know, the 1931 tariffs is not the right thing. And to your point, I think that you're going to see the rest of America, who looks, I think, at China as both a competitor and an adversary in certain things, certainly on values, and make a more nuanced, smart plan, not having a Peter Navarro and a Lighthouser leading the way. When you have, you ask farmers in Iowa who had to be bailed out with my tax dollars. I thought that the Republicans were supposed to be good on working with my tax dollars. But these folks are losing their farms or having to humbly take government assistance when they just want to sell their goods. And by the way, it's not like China's not getting those goods. They're just buying them from Brazil. They're buying them from India. They're buying them from Thailand. They're not buying it from us. The bottom line is we want, I can't believe it's a Democratic issue. I thought it was an American issue because this is what I fought for when I was ambassador to Singapore. We want a level playing field. And where there's a level playing field, there is no field where Americans and American entrepreneurs and farmers can't compete. That's what we try to do with continuing George Bush's TPP. And if the Trump administration wanted to tweak it at the edges, great. But what do we have? We have the TPP 11, which excludes us and also doesn't include labor protections and environmental protections that our businesses already have to abide by, which makes our companies out of the realm of competitive.
Right, Kirk.
This was not a drum circle. This was strong economic policy.